Okay, so hello and welcome to another live streaming episode with ubisend. And just as my voice starts to break as soon as I start recording, always the nice way. For the regular viewers for our live streams, you'll know that normally Alex is the one that hosts these. However, Alex is off having a nice camping trip, enjoying himself and enjoying his holiday. So I'm just taking over for Alex while he's just away and having a nice time. So if you were here for any of the earlier episodes that we've been doing, you'll be able to see that Alex has actually been building a kind of lead generation chatbot for a marketing agency that specializes in SEO, PPC, that kind of thing. So what I've done prior to me joining onto this stream here is I've just kind of taken a little bit of a look around what Alex has been doing. So I'm a little bit up to date, and I'll just kind of give you a quick run through of where he's got to so far. So what he's done at the moment, and I'll be kind of carrying on from this and adding a few extra bits here and there. But he's gone with, say, he got a few FAQs in, so quite basic FAQs. If somebody asks about the kind of PPC services that the agency offers, it's going to be able to give an answer. Same for web design services and same for SEO services. So let's just look at an example of the SEO services here. If somebody asks along the lines of, what are your SEO services? Tell me about your SEO services, all of these kind of things, the chatbot's going to be able to respond and say, our SEO services include a full page website audit, and so on and so on. So he's got all the kind of like the nice basics in for the start of a good chatbot here. And also as well, he's gone a little bit further than that as well in the previous episode, and he's also started building the first full-blown conversations, which will hopefully lead to an inquiry. So what we've got is we've got a lead gen SEO, which is SEO conversation, which is the one that Alex was working on last week. And if we just click view here, we're able to kind of have a little look through and see that when the message equals SEO services, they can put you in touch with one of our SEO experts. I just need a few details. Let's do the pleasantry first. What is your first name? And then this entire conversation here is just kind of gathering data and gathering essentially an inquiry form, learning about the user of the chatbot, and then being able to kind of forward it on to a member of their own staff, which happens kind of roughly a little bit down in the conversation. So he's got quite a nice start here for a quite impactful lead generation chatbot. As I mentioned, he's not able to join us today, so I'm going to be hosting this, and I'm just going to be kind of picking up where he left off, hopefully not making too many mistakes. I'm sure if you are a regular viewer, when you'll tune in next week, you'll see if maybe I've made a few mistakes and Alex isn't too happy. We'll see how we go. But I think the first thing that I'm going to do at the moment, which is, if you can see up at the top here, we've got when message equals SEO services, and this is written with the little underscore. Obviously, no one's actually going to type this. I'm sure Alex did explain this in previous episodes. The reason why that it's SEO underscore services is this is essentially a little, I'd call it a signpost for the chatbot. So when the chatbot receives a message saying SEO services, it signposts the chatbot to pick up this conversation and direct the user down this flow that we've just been looking at. What I'm going to do to start off with is I'm going to link this SEO services signpost here to some of the pre-existing FAQs that Alex was working on to start tying everything together quite nicely. So I'll head over into FAQs and I'll go straight into the about SEO services answers. So when somebody asks about the SEO services, this is the message that the chatbot responds. I'm just going to expand on this and try and get users into an inquiry kind of straight away from this. So I'm just going to go and change this here to action. And what action means is we can start adding buttons. We specifically call them postback buttons, but for the purpose of explaining, a button is essentially just a quick click and then the chatbot will take them to a different area of a conversation, or maybe say a web page, or let them download a PDF or an image or that kind of thing. So we'll go with the postback of, trying to think about the best way to phrase this now. This is as my phrasing and my grammar's going to go absolutely terribly now. I'm trying to type live on stream, but we're just going to be taking someone into an inquiry form. So we'll go with I'll probably come back and change how I've phrased this, but would you like to inquire? Actually, no, I'm not sure. I think we'll go with make, if I can type correctly, make an inquiry. And then what we'll do here is we'll just go with the little postback thing that I was mentioning earlier, where it's SEO underscore services. Let me just triple check that I'm getting this correctly. But so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to link the button here to the conversation that we were literally just looking at. So let me just bear with me while my internet loads. I have been having a few internet troubles recently. We'll click view, and what we've got here is, as I mentioned, a few internet troubles here, but once it's loaded, SEO services. So what we'll do is we'll copy paste this, enter it into here. So we've got SEO services there. And now this means whenever anyone clicks make an inquiry, it's going to tell the chatbot SEO services. That's then going to trigger this conversation, because when a message equals SEO services, and they'll be heading down this entire conversation. So we've kind of linking this together quite nicely. What I'll do there is I'll just quickly click save. just have a quick review of the questions and whatnot. And so, as mentioned, what are your SEO services? So quite a nice basic question. What I'll do is I'll just ask this to the demo chatbot and just make sure that everything's working quite nicely. So we'll just say, what are your SEO services there? And the chatbot's going to say our SEO services include a full website audit up to about 20,000 pages and the production of an actionable 18-page document. And we just got make an inquiry. Maybe not the most exciting way to do it, but with the make an inquiry button there. But I'm sure obviously anyone watching this, if you're an expert marketer and expert at lead generation, you'll know better ways that you can kind of phrase this question and start warming someone towards an inquiry. But I've just gone with quite a nice basic one there. And as you can see, I've now instantly started that conversation we were just looking at from the FAQ. So quite nice, that's all tied up quite nicely there. And I think what I'm going to do throughout the rest of this episode is I'm going to tie up the other FAQs he meant that Alex had been building, because he's already put in 3 there, and he's also got the start of 3 conversations. So I'm just going to tie those 3 FAQs together in the exact same way, so I'll do them quite quickly as I've already explained it. And then I'm going to start expanding upon one of the conversations, and I think I'll be making a split conversation that's going to run through a couple different options and kind of split through into a few different branches depending upon what the user says. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of quickly go through this, and we'll head over into the builder, which I've already got open in a different tab. So actually I'll head over into the FAQs section, sorry. And so we've just linked SEO services, so now we'll link what are your PPC services. So again, just straight over into the answers, we'll just completely replicate what I was literally just doing, so I won't do it nice and quickly here, hopefully not make too many spelling mistakes. We'll put make an inquiry, that's spelled incorrectly, there we are, I believe that's spelled inquiry correctly. And then I'll just quickly triple check what the actual trigger for this for the PPC conversation is. So that is, I believe, PPC services, yes it is indeed. So we'll copy that across, paste that in there. So now whenever anyone clicks make an inquiry, taken to the PPC, absolutely perfect, just what we want to see. Click save. So now we've linked that FAQ up with that conversation as well. And I'll just quickly do this for the final one, which is about web design services. So I'll do the same thing here. Click, not questions, click view answers, sorry. And then I'll just triple check. I imagine it's going to be web design services based upon how Alex has been formatting these. Yep, it is indeed. Although I would have probably missed out one of the underscores there, which is why it's always good to have a double check. Head over to actions, click add postback, and we'll go with web design services, and again, make an inquiry. Inquiry, if I can spell it correctly, there we go. And click save. Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we've linked up all of these 3 things, is we're going to start with the first conversation. And going to have a little look. I believe that the conversation I think I'm going to kind of expand upon, which Alex was doing, is this PPC conversation. So at the moment, obviously, he's just kind of got PPC services. Not the most fleshed out conversation, I have to say, so we'll be doing our little bit here to make it a little bit better. Now, PPC, there's a few different ways that an agency can do PPC. It can either be, say, Google Ads is obviously one of the big ones, or at the same time, Facebook Ads. And I think for the purpose of this, we're just going to say we offer both of those, and then I'm going to have a split in the conversation depending upon if the user is interested in Google Ads or Facebook ads. And I believe, if I recall correctly, Google Ads also, if you're a charity, there's up to I think about $10,000 worth of Google Ads that you can claim for being a charity. So what I'll probably do throughout the conversation is I'll have another spin-off. If someone is a charity, we'll take them to a separate dedicated charity conversation. Might not have time to build that today. But so we'll have a conversation which splits into 2 branches with a possible 3rd split off towards the end that then leads to a separate conversation dedicated for charities, just to try and kind of get that tailored service going on. Right, so when a message equals PPC services. Okay, perfect. Let's just have a quick double check of how this sounds. So I do have to say, obviously picking up from Alex here, a little bit of a kind of double checking at the start, making sure that I know everything's being said correctly and I'm not making too many kind of weird leaps. So our PPC services include the creation of your campaign, landing page, and optimization. Perfect. Let me just grab a quick drink. Quick drink there. And we'll just have another little run through of just the previous conversation that Alex was building. I want to try and make sure I keep the same formatting, the same tone. So what we've got inside the conversation I put yesterday, which was the SEO, we've got, I can put you in touch with one of our SEO experts, just need a few details, let's do the pleasantries. So it's kind of, looking at this, kind of quite nice, simple conversation here. And then he's got someone, most likely Steve, he's super keen, we'll be in touch with you very soon. So it's a little bit jokey, a little bit kind of simple, quite a nice conversation. So I'll try and replicate this kind of simple, quick, not taking too much time for the user, but injecting a little bit of personality here and there. So we'll change this message and we'll kind of replicate what Alex was doing, which is, I can put you in touch with a member of our team. Then we'll go with something along the lines of, first, it's probably best I grab a bit of information from you. My typing is always terrible, so please do forgive me if I'm putting grammar mistakes every single direction. I'm sure I'll be putting a lot of those in. And then we'll go with, first off, what's your name? Question mark. And click save. And once we've done that, we're just going to then build in the next step of the conversation, which is going to probably be along the lines of, if I'm trying to think about what a PPC person would be doing, or PPC agency, they're probably going to be asking about kind of a monthly budget, as well as then also kind of, before we then start splitting off into, is it Google or is it Facebook? So we'll call this step monthly budget, question mark. And when a message is sent, that is absolutely fine. We will click continue, and then we'll put, what's your monthly budget? And I believe the best way to kind of tackle this is similar to the one that Alex was working on last week, I believe it was. So as you can see, he's just kind of got these few buttons here. I'm going to be including those as well. So we'll kind of copy, I'd say, I'm trying to think about the best, my knowledge of the old PPC world and how much that could cost is a little bit up in the air. I think we'll replicate that, so we'll just go to up to 500. Let me just double check, this is a UK based company that we're building here. Yep, £500, up to 500. And then we'll just go ahead and add another post back, and we'll go 500 to 1,000. If I can find the old 500 key on the keyboard, 500 to 1,000. And then we'll just add one last one here, which is 1,000 plus. 1,000, oh, that's not that. See, the typing, it's already starting to go completely out of the window. And let's just also have a double check as well. I believe he has been using the Postmax, yep, less than 500, perfect. So we'll be doing the same, so we will go less underscore 500, and then we'll be going 500 to 1,000, and then we'll be going 1,000 underscore plus. So what I've just done here is I've essentially just made these three quick reply buttons, and this basically is just quite a nice way for the user to be able to kind of click along these, and they'll say, okay, perfect, this is what I need. Sometimes you can have the world's most fancy natural language processing going on, and sometimes you can have a button. Both work equally as well, it's completely up to you. You can include some natural language processing, or you can just add a button. I think for a user making an inquiry, much easier for them to just click a button, so that's what I've gone with. Composer here as well. The composer is where the user types a message, if you do not yet know. There's a couple ways that you can say kind of tackle this. Because obviously we just kind of want them to click this button here. I'm not sure that maybe we might not want them to say, not just click the button, but type their own response, because they could say, put in something like, well, I'm actually 17,000 depending upon the day of the week and every third month. You might get some very complicated answers, which are best dealt with by a member of the team, because when it's a kind of complicated, really in-depth, 100 very different variables, you kind of want one of your team members to be there, warming that lead. So I'm just going to hide the composer, so all they can do in this stage is click the button. And then I'm going to click create. And I think just actually as I'm reviewing this here, I've got, yeah, I think I'm quite happy with what's your monthly budget. So I'm thinking that from now on, I think we're going to start splitting off into Google Ads and PPC. So we're going to ask the question, which is going to say, we'll say Google Ads, or not PPC, sorry, Google Ads or Facebook Ads is what I meant to say. And then we will click continue, and we will say, great stuff. Are you interested in Google Ads or Facebook? With a little question mark. And again, we'll just completely replicate what I was just doing earlier. I won't talk back through too much, but we'll again go with Google Ads. I don't know, is it a capital A? I mean, I'm feeling it's, I don't know. So this is where the whole grammar thing starts to fall out the window here. I'm like, is it Google Ads or capital A or not? But so we'll just go Google Ads and Facebook Ads. I've written that in the wrong place, sorry. That should be the post back, which again is just the signpost to tell the chatbot where to go. So that's Google Ads. When someone clicks Google Ads, we'll use this as a signpost to take them through a different conversation. And then we'll go Facebook Ads and just replicate the same signposting using the postback with Facebook Ads there. And we will make sure that I haven't written anything completely ridiculous. It all looks quite ridiculous to me, but not too bad. So we will just click go and create, sorry, I should say. And so now this is where we're going to start splitting off our conversation. So great stuff. Are you interested in Google Ads or Facebook? What we'll do is we'll start with the Google Ads conversation. So we're just going to click plus here, and we'll call this Google Ads. And then for this time, as you can see, this is the transition. So to get to this step, a user has to do. Currently, I've just been leaving it as send a message because all the messages that we've been putting in are quite self-explanatory, so they're going to be able to migrate their way down. We've got absolutely hundreds of different triggers and what I'm going to do now is change it to when a message equals Google _ads. So the exact same process that I was doing at the start of the video when I was kind of linking the FAQs to the parts of to this conversation. Now I'm just linking when someone clicks that button to head down to the next step. Obviously, there's so many different things that we could do here. You can do it based on a user's location, a user's language, absolutely myriad of stuff, to be honest with you. Quite difficult. I'm not going to talk through it all, but obviously if live chat's available, subscriber returns between 9 AM and 5 PM. Quite nice if you're kind of like looking at these kind of like hot leads that are coming back in. There's I believe there's also one which is a first name, or a name even, which I could have used in the earlier section when I was gathering the person's name, but I don't particularly feel the need to do that. But yeah, anyway, we're just going to go with Google Ads here and click continue. And we're going to, so this is now the users reached this step and they have said that they're interested in Google Ads. So here we're going to kind of gather a little bit more feedback about whether they are a charity or not, because as I mentioned, you can, charities are eligible to a discount, I believe, or maybe even just free credits on Google Ads accounts. And I think it'd be quite nice for this agency to have the opportunity to kind of get some of that charity business by having dedicated conversations. So now we're just going to quickly double check if they are a charity or not. We'll go with, I'm trying to think about, I was about to put don't mean to pry, but that's a bit of a weird way to phrase it. So we'll just put, are you a registered UK charity? We'll put, do you work for? Do you work for a registered UK charity? And then we'll add a little question here and put charities are eligible, oh my spelling, it's all going out the window. Come on, autocorrect, please save me. There we go. Charities are eligible for, this is where someone's going to be able to be watching this and know that I've got the numbers wrong, but I believe it's £10,000 worth of free credits. But I'm actually not going to put that because I can't remember the exact amount, so instead I'm just going to put charities are eligible for free Google Ads credits. We can help set up and manage your account. And then we'll put no, and we'll just put, again, the same button here. We'll just put another quick reply. Although actually, I think this time I might go with for an action just to spice things up a little bit. And we'll just, actually, no, I think I'm going to go quick reply. Sorry, that was just me trying to choose which way to go with this. I'm going to put, I'm part of a charity, and then I'm not part of a charity. Every time I've been doing this incorrectly. So here we're going to go, I'm going to rephrase this. So I'm talking a little bit here or there. I'm just trying to work out the best way to phrase these questions. I'm not quite as accustomed to building live as Alex is, so I'm trying to talk quite at the same time I type, and it's all going out the window. But I think I'll go with yes, we're a charity. And then here we'll use the same post back. So we'll put yes _ charity. And then we'll add another post back here, which is no, we're not a charity. And then we'll put not _ charity. So we've got yes as a charity, not as a charity. When a user clicks this button, what I'll do, might not get around to building this conversation today, but I'm actually going to take them off to a separate conversation. So out of the one we're working on, and we're going to have a dedicated charity conversation. And if they click no, we're just going to continue progressing them throughout the conversation. So we will now click create. So here we've got, yes, we are a charity, no, we're not a charity. So what we're going to do before we start moving down this is we're now going to add the option for Facebook ads. So we're going to click plus here. I'm going to call this Facebook ads. And then we are going to say if a message equals, if I can type correctly, equals Facebook _ ads, and then click continue. And here we're going to write along the lines of Facebook ads, great news. We've been bringing in, I was going to go a little bit too casual with the phrasing here. I want to try and squeeze in a little bit more personality and put, I think I might go just to do with nice little great stuff. We've got years of experience working with Facebook ads. Again, as I mentioned, I'm sure everybody that is watching this stream is going to be able to come up with much better ways of phrasing these. You'll have to forgive me. Probably not the most wonderfully written copy that I'm coming up with here, but the actual functionality of the chatbot's going to be solid. So we've got great stuff. We've got years working with Facebook ads. By this point, we already know that what their budget is as well. I think what we'll do now is we'll just kind of start progressing them down towards actually kind of giving their contact details so a member of the team can get back in touch. And then we'll just put along the lines of, I might actually, trying to think about this, I might say ask for what their industry is. As with Facebook, their industry is kind of quite important for obviously any kind of targeted advertising, but I'd say it's even more important or even more so than with Facebook ads, because the kind of different kind of content that you're going to be putting out on Facebook is huge range. You can have carousels, videos, a lot of different stuff. If you're, say, in the pet industry, you're likely to have very different style adverts than, say, if you're in the financial sector. Also true with Google Ads, but because of the kind of limited text content of Google Ads, not quite the same. So I'm going to also just quickly ask what their industry is here. So what industry are you in? Just, again, not the best phrasing, but just so that whoever it is that picks up this call and follows up on this lead is able to have that little bit of extra information if they are dealing with a Facebook ad there. And it's quite a nice point to mention as well. Depending upon the kind of chatbot conversations you're pulling together, you can kind of have all sorts of different things, all sorts of different conversations, and you can kind of be getting specialized information depending upon different steps. But yep, so as you can see at the moment, I've just kind of grabbed what their first name is, what their monthly budget is, and we've kind of given them the option to choose if they're going for Google ads or Facebook ads. And here as well, then we're going to branch them into slightly different messages. Whenever you kind of start branching, I always like to just have a quick double check in the demo that I haven't made any mistakes, and this kind of section of the branch area that I've pulled together is working fine. So what I'll do is I'll just head off to the demo and we'll just say something along the lines of, tell me about your PPC services. I believe this was the FAQ. I don't believe the chatbot's been trained yet, so it might not understand this. Oh, perfect, it does indeed. We've got our PPC services include the creation of your campaign, landing page design and optimization. Make an inquiry. So here we can start heading off, and I can put you in touch with a member of our team. Firstly, it's probably best I grab a bit of information off you. First off, what is your name? So I can already tell here, this is why it's always good to do it. I've written first twice, and that should probably be a firstly as well. So as I mentioned, the good old grammar coming out of Jacob is probably not the best. I'll change this in just a second, but I'll just put my name down there as being Jacob. What's your monthly budget? Oh, accidentally scroll up. I'm going to say that my monthly budget is £500 to £1,000. And great stuff. Are you interested in Google ads or Facebook? I should probably put Facebook ads here as well. This is why it's always good to re-review what you've been writing. And I've gone for Facebook ads. As you can see, we've got great stuff. We've got years of experience working with Facebook ads. What industry are you in? So I haven't gone anywhere else in this conversation, so I'm just going to reset this and do it all over again, just to make sure the other side of the branch is working. So we'll go with, tell me about your PPC services. I quite like the name Yellow Dog Marketing that Alex has gone for here, but as I'm looking at this, I feel like maybe we could do some kind of fun things with the kind of design of this chatbot, but I think that might be something for another episode. And then we've got first off, what's your name? So again, as I mentioned, just running through the conversation I did just to go the other way. So this time we'll say up to 500, not important at this current stage. And then we've got Google Ads. And here with there now, they're just asking if we work for a registered UK charity. Charities are eligible for free Google ad credits. We can help set up and manage your account. And yes, we're a charity. No, we're not a charity. Haven't progressed any further than that. Okay, so what I believe that we're going to do now is what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to finish off this conversation before then moving on to setting this one up. But before I do that as well, I'm just going to have a quick glass of water. So, where did we get up to in here? That is the previous conversation that Alex was looking at, clicking on the wrong tab. We'll head back to the builder and we'll head down to our PPC conversation. And here we are working with both Facebook ads and Google ads. I think what I mentioned I was going to do is just kind of correct some bad copywriting that I've been managing to come out with here. I'll change this to firstly. It's probably best I better grab a bit of information off you. What's your name? And we'll just leave it as what's your name for the time being. Don't want to spend too long going over all of my terrible copywriting, as that's probably not what we're all here for to watch today. So we've got has that all saved correctly? Yep. Firstly, it's probably best to grab a bit of information off you. What's your name? A little bit nicer there. And I'm also just going to quickly change this to, say, Facebook ads as well. And spell ads completely wrong. And then click save. Okay, perfect. So what I want to do now is I want to add a next step in the conversation, following on if somebody has they've basically, by this point, they've given a fairly decent chunk of information, and now we're going to start progressing, just kind of grabbing an email address and saying that we're going to be able to get back in touch with them. So we're just going to click the little plus button here, We'll call this what's your email. And although, as I'm saying this out loud, I believe that Alex previously has already kind of gone through quite nicely and already gone through and had steps in a conversation which gathers an email address, gathers a phone number. So what we're looking at here is the one that Alex was building last week. And also, again, we've also got the ideal meeting time being gathered. So he's already got this really nice kind of step and flow of kind of gathering kind of a conversation here. So what I actually think I'm going to do is we can obviously include this as well, but while we're building this, just to give a little bit of variety, is I'm probably going to actually introduce the option for live chat at this point, because obviously with an agency, you might not have live chat, you might, but it's a nice way to kind of have that little extra option, kind of turn a few things on, and also as well for those that are watching, show off a little bit of a different functionality so you don't feel like you're watching the same thing again and again. So here I'm going to actually say, would you like, I'll just call this live chat for the time being. And when a message is sent, absolutely fine. Click continue, and then put we have available. There's a trying to think about the best way to phrase this, because obviously you don't want to be offering live chat if live chat is not fully available. But I think what we're going to go with is, do you want to have a quick chat with a team member? And then I'll just click add new. It's all on live chat, so don't worry about, I don't know quite really, to be honest with you, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but it's all on live chat, so don't worry about having to talk to humans. And then I'm putting brackets, yeah, I don't particularly know where I've been going with that kind of little bit of copy that I've been writing there, but you know, we'll go with it and see if we can kind of get anything else out of this. But so this here, we're just kind of triggering a little bit of live chat. So do you want to have a quick chat with our team member? It's all on live chat, so don't worry about having to talk to humans. And then again, we're just going to put yes and no. So we'll go along with quick reply. We'll put yes, and then we'll add another postback, which is no. For the no, we're just going to put no because obviously they're not interested in live chat. And for the quick reply, we're going to use talk_to agent. So this is actually a postback that kind of comes within the ubisend platform. So talk to agent is already set up. As long as live chat's enabled, which is something I'm just going to do in a second, this will automatically trigger live chat for you. So, and then I'm going to click create. So as you can see, we've now kind of got people coming down into this branch and then it's going to say, do you want to have a quick chat with a team member? It's all on live chat, so don't worry about having to talk to humans. And what we're going to do is we are then going to go over to the integrations here, live chat, open this up in another tab just so I don't lose everything. And pray that my internet doesn't cut out there a little bit. I've just got a little notification warning it in the other part of my screen, but it does look like it's all okay on the full bars. But anyway, we're going to click settings and we are going to enable live chat and turn that on and click save. And as you can see here as well, we've got the active hours for when live chat could be enabled. So obviously if live chat isn't available at these periods of time, then they're not going to be able to engage with it, which is always quite nice to have. Click save. With the live chat as well, you're obviously able to kind of set your specialized agents, set your own agent working hours, route tickets, depending. There's an absolute whole wealth of stuff that we can be talking about in live chat. Don't want to go into it in too much detail as I'd like to get this conversation finished before the end of this episode. So now we've enabled live chat, and what we're going to do is going to head back in and just quickly make sure that all of the transitions are heading up. So we clicked on the wrong options there. So from the Google ads, they will be transitioning down into the live chat conversation. And I think for the purpose of this, although we do have this split here, I'm probably just going to also have the person from Facebook ads. We've gathered what industry they're in. They're also going to come down into this option for live chat as well. So we're going to click options here. I'm going to go transitions, and we're going to transition them to our live chat conversation. So just choosing that there. And when a message is sent, they would just want them to be slowly progressing through the conversation whenever they're answering the questions. So don't need any specific kind of triggers to use this transition at the moment. And we'll click save. So now both of these messages are heading us down here quite nicely. And one thing that I've also noticed as well is obviously I was capturing what industry they were working in, and I believe that, I'm not sure Alex has actually set up a variable for industry. If you were here in any of the previous episodes or any of the other series we've done, this little lightning bolt, I believe it's called, this basically is a variable. So obviously I'm sure we're all accustomed to variables. It's a kind of data gathering that is custom depending upon the data inputted by the user, if I've explained that correctly or in a way that makes sense. And what we've when the user gives the phone number, that will be saved within the platform for use throughout the conversation. I just want to do the same for the industry, and having a look, Alex has already created an industry variable, so I'm just going to reuse that, which is always very handy. I didn't actually check if he'd done that or not, so I'm actually quite happy he has. And so on our transitions, when they head to live chat, they're going to tell us what their industry is. We're going to go here, just select industry, so now it's going to be saving that, and click save. Heading down quite nicely, and then we've got when a message is sent, and if I click this little extra button, so when a message is sent, it's come from Google Ads, and then with the Facebook ads, or when a message is sent equals, and they're giving the industry. So now we've got being able to take them on a little bit of a split in conversation, but then taking them back through to the same live chat message, saves us having to recreate it twice or anything along those lines. And I think as well, as we've activated live chat, might as well just give you a quick demonstration of how that will look, and it's always good to make sure everything's working okay. So I'll just head over back to the demo section and put tell me about your PPC services and click enter. And now I'm going to be able to say make an inquiry. You've all seen me do this before, so I'm just going to quickly jump through. We're just going to go with Jacob, nice capital A in the middle of my name there. This is our budget. We're interested in Facebook ads. And great stuff, we've got years of experience working with Facebook ads. What industry are you in? I will put pets. And now I believe, do you want to have a quick chat with a team member? It's all on live chat, so don't worry about having to talk to humans. I do need to rephrase that. I'm going to have to put talk on the phone or something along those lines, but then I'm going to click yes. And one of our agents will be with you shortly, which is where it's going to be funny because I'm now going to be talking to myself using live chat. So what I do is I just head down to integrations, I'll open it up in another tab so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And what I might do actually is, and I'll leave it in the same thing, but as you can see, we've just got a new live chat come in. I'm going to claim that live chat. And as you can see, I've got all of the record of the previous conversation, so I can see that they are Jacob, they have a £5,000 to £10,000 budget, they're interested in Facebook ads, and they work in the pets industry. And I'm now able to be like, yo, let's sell some pet stuff with the best Facebook ads ever seen. So obviously this is not the kind of thing that you'd probably want your if you are doing kind of any live chat lead generation, but it is quite nice, as I mentioned, just to kind of show off using the live chat. Naturally, you'll be putting something a lot more professional than that if you are using it. And as I head back, as you can see, we've got Jacob Lucas has joined the chat, and now this is a message from myself to myself, or live chat agent Jacob to inquiry Jacob, as they say, with my split personalities that I seem to have gained during the purpose of this stream. But so that's all working fine. I can now obviously type a message as well, and if I head back to live chat, it's going to come through there. What I'll do is I'm just going to mark this as resolved. And what we've got here is, can the chatbot help? Could this have been answered by the chatbot if new FAQs were created? Quite a nice little step here if you do have live chat, because you're able to then, the live chat agent will be able to click yes, say if it's something along the lines of it's just a quick question that maybe you hadn't thought about, they're able to click yes, go through, create an FAQ, saves them having to deal with a similar kind of live chat request. Again, really nice kind of way of just kind of the platform, just making sure that your chatbot is as efficient as it can be. But obviously at the moment this is for an inquiry, we don't particularly want lots of new FAQs made around inquiries, so I'm just going to click no. Which then I believe should say Jacob Lucas has left the chat and live chat has ended. Perfect. So I'm now going to go back over to Builder. Let's just close down that live chat tab and just kind of continue finishing up what we've been building here. So obviously as well, if the user does click say no, and I've just actually realized I've made a slight little whoopsie here. When I was doing these transitions from this step down to this one, I left it as when a message is sent, forgetting that obviously we've got these two different buttons here. Yes, if they're a charity, we want them to go off to a separate conversation. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to change this to the postback. So I'm going to change the transition to what happens when they click that button. So if we just have a little look, as you can see, if they are not a charity, it's using the postback signpost there, not charity. So I'm going to change this transition to if a message equals not charity and click save. So what we've got there is now when a message equals not charity, they're going to be progressing down this way. If it does equal they are a charity, we'll be building a separate conversation. And I just need to basically correct my terrible copywriting here, so don't worry about having to talk to humans on the phone. This is I don't know if Alex is going to be too happy with my little things that have been thrown in there and now, but you know, it's all for the sake of the stream, and we'll click save. And then what we'll do here is we are going to then click, if they say no, they don't want to talk like right now on the phone, we're just going to ask for an email address and say we're going to get back to them. So we're just going to go with email address, and we will call this message equals no, as they have just recently said no, and put that's cool. Leave. For some reason, I literally just don't know how to type at the moment. I just go to type, my entire brain freezes. We're with leave an email address, and we'll get back to you shortly. And click create. So now the user is going to be leaving their email address, and then we are going to, my internet just died for a second. Oh no, we are back. And then we're going to, this is the final step, which is going to be thanks, and when a message, and for this we're going to put equals, no we're not, sorry, we're going to say when a message is an email address. So when a message is email, I believe I can find if I can type, message, here we are, is an email. And there is a couple of things that I can do. I could obviously as well, I believe, change this. So at the moment this is an email, so this accepts Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, all of the different kind of email addresses. And here we've got is a business email. So this will be obviously not accepting the typical Gmail, and instead it will have to be at ubisend. Kind of an internal decision there, whether you want to go with business email only or an actual email, completely up to you. I think for the purpose of this, I'm going to put is an email, click continue, and then put thanks, one of our team. And I believe Alex threw in a nice little bit of personality here, so I'm going to try and replicate that. And I'm going to go probably Sarah. She's been doing PPC for years now. We'll be in touch shortly. And click save. Click create. Sorry, I should say. So probably Sarah, she's been doing PPC for years now and will be in touch shortly. Obviously as well, there might be a time when say the user does not able to enter an email address. So what I can always do is, I believe Alex did it earlier, as you can see here. What's your email address? And if I hover over this, it repeats where message is not an email. So this is if say someone's put a typo in rather than jacob at gmail.com, they've accidentally put jacob at gsnail.com or anything along those lines. So that's quite easy to set up there. You can kind of just have doing it through with the transitions. Obviously, Alex has already done this. I'm a little bit conscious that I don't want to be just kind of repeating everything that Alex has been doing. So you've already seen this happening. If you haven't, be sure to check out the first episode of this series. You'll be able to catch that somewhat in the middle area, I believe. So I'm not going to kind of continue on with that. Instead, I'm going to head back over here, say, just imagine that is kind of what was be going on normally with that kind of email verification just here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be setting up this next step, which is, yes, we're a charity. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back over to the builder and create a new conversation. So we're going to create this conversation and we're going to call this charity. And we're going to call it charity PPC to be fair. And we'll give this a name. We'll call this specialized conversation for charity businesses inquiring about PPC. I don't know what it is with the word inquiry and inquiring and all of these different variants of it, but I just cannot seem to be spelling that at all. And we'll call this where message equals, I believe it was yes underscore charity. I believe that's the signpost or the postback that I used previously. Let's find out. I believe it was. We're just going to trust myself. I'm pretty adamant it was. And so now, by this point in the conversation, they've said that they're a charity and they're interested in PPC. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click message, and we'll go with, I feel like I've written great stuff 100 times. What's another way to start a conversation that isn't just typically great stuff? Cool. Again, the very professional business word there, cool. We've got, we regularly help charities set up their Google Ads account. And what I think what I'll do there is I'll add another message, And what we'll do, this is again similar to the inquiry, so I don't want to repeat myself too much, but I think it'd be quite nice if they are, say, a charity, to kind of be using in, weaving in maybe a little bit of different content as well. With the message type here, I could be using, say, images, carousels, which are essentially a series of images, so the user can kind of swipe through. Or at the same time, we've kind of got actions, quick replies, which you've seen quite a bit. Video as well, always quite nice. Content as well. So I can write up a little bit of content or import a PDF. We've got video as well here, and we've kind of got, I can embed things, so I can embed my own Google Calendar invite or something, so which might be quite a nice way to kind of say, book a meeting in someone's calendar. And I think that might be what I do actually. I think I might set this up so we say we've got a specialized charity person, we're going to let you book time directly within their calendar. So what we'll do is we regularly help set up charities with their Google Ads account. And then I'll go with, we have charity specialized, that's not how you phrase it. We, Alex, Alex, our CMO, specializes in I cannot talk at all today, in assisting charities with their PPC efforts. And then I'll put, do you want to book a quick call with him? And again, and now we're just going to be able to go quick reply, as I've just been doing quite a bit, and put yes. And I'm going to change this to yes, call Alex. And I'm going to add another post back, which is going to be no, and this is just going to quite simply say no. And click save. Obviously, throughout these kind of conversations, you might want to be throwing in different kind of bits of personality, including some videos, maybe a few little extra reasons of why they should definitely be inquiring with you. But obviously there's also room to do that in a lot of different conversations and with the whole website as a whole. But for the purpose of this, we're just going to kind of jump through into the kind of making an inquiry. And we're going to go down here, and then we're going to go along the lines of yes, call Alex. I'm going to put message equals, and then under yes, underscore call Alex, which is the postback that I was previously just using to progress them through the conversation for the quick reply, and click continue. And we'll put OK. This is as all of a sudden I quickly realized that I actually don't have Alex's address or calendar invite, but we'll put OK. Pick a time that best suits you. And we're going to head over here and we're going to go down to embed, and we're just going to quickly embed Alex a calendar invite there. So let me just quickly make sure I've got this correct. And we're going to call it along the lines of calendar invite. This is just for internal use, this title here, so it doesn't matter too much. Just paste in the embed there, click continue. And now this means that we're going to be able to, when somebody reaches this step, they're going to be able to book a time. And I'm just going to show you quickly what that looks like. So I'm going to use the post back here just to jump through the conversation, but normally you'd be going through the previous conversation we're just working on until you get to the charity step, then you're directed through to this specialized conversation. But just for the purpose of making sure it's all working, I'm just going to use this signpost or post back to get myself there quickly. So I can put yes, charity. And then do you want to book a quick call with him? We'll go along the lines with yes. And then we're going to say, pick a time that best suits you. We're going to click view. It'll take a little while to load. And as you can see, there is the lovely Alex. If you're a regular person on the call, you'll be able to see that's his face there. And I can obviously pick in some time. As you can see, he's a very busy chap, not got a huge amount of time. Not actually going to put time with him in his diary, as he'll probably be a little bit annoyed at me for just randomly booking meetings that don't make any sense. But as you can see, it's quite a nice way if you do want to have that kind of like personalized service straight within the chatbot window. Didn't even need to leave the chatbot or anything along those lines. Really quite a nice way to do it there. And I think as we're coming through, I'm conscious that the time is absolutely flying throughout this episode, but I don't know how Alex managed to get so much done when he's talking through this. I don't know, but he really does indeed. So we'll just kind of tidy up a little bit with this charity conversation. So we'll click view here. And obviously I did give them the option here to not book a time in with Alex. And what we'll just quickly do is go along the lines of just back into the same, I'll just leave as an email address. So no email. And when message equals, we'll put no, click continue. And then we'll go with along the lines of leave an email. And we'll make this a little bit nicer than just leave an email. That's fine. Leave an email and we'll, and again, I'll make sure it's Alex. Alex will get back to you. Noticing as I've been doing this, I think it's as I've been kind of talking it through out loud. This is an inquiry section. The person said that they want to inquire, maybe given the option of whether they want to book a call, yes, no. They most likely do want to book a call, so this step probably isn't actually necessary, but I've included it because I've just kind of been talking it through. And obviously here they're going to leave an email and we'll get back to them. And we're just going to leave a quick thanks. And when the message is sent, so yep, we want this, and we're going to say we want them to progress to it from when they say no to Alex. So when the user gets to this step, they have to click the no they want to email, and then we're going to put thanks. And so by this point they would have provided their email. So again, we're going to put if a message is an email, and then we're going to click continue. I'm going to put cool beans. Look forward to learning more about your project. Make a few typos and just click create. And obviously what I want to do here as well is here they've given an email. We want to be saving that as a variable. So I'm going to head back into this and just find, I believe, did Alex get email address? And we will include this variable. And yep, so that's fine. I'll leave an email and we'll get back to you. And now we've got email address with messages and email. Perfect. By this point, on the left side of the conversation, I'll just run through this quickly. So here they have wanted to book a call. Here they've been given the option to actually book the call directly in his diary. We're just going to leave the conversation there. They've kind of got exactly what they needed. They got what they came for. They don't need to progress down to this next step. Whereas with here, they're just leaving an email address because they don't want to book a call. As I mentioned, a little bit of a design flaw on my fault. Don't know why these two branches would ever need to exist, but that's the way that I've made them, and I've given them the option if they need it. And then they're going to be able to go through to email address. So we do want them following on, and you can just kind of follow the little lines here that tell you exactly where people can progress throughout the conversations. And I'll just also head over back into the builder and just make sure that I haven't missed out any variables or anything like that in the PPC conversation I was looking at. So what's your name? What we want here is to save this as a variable. So again, transition, first name. This means when the chatbot's going to capture this user inputted data. And we can probably start using, just to personalize the conversation a little bit, be putting these within the conversation, but I'm running a little bit out of time. And here we've got what's your monthly budget. So we're going to want to add a variable to this. So we'll head over to transitions, and I believe, is there a monthly budget? There is an SEO budget, SEO keywords. There is not a monthly budget. So I will follow the same format and I will create PPC budget here. I'll go with PPC underscore budget. And just as well, if I'm not sure if Alex went over this in previous lessons, streams, sorry. We have advanced settings within the variables, and we've got different scopes. So there's subscriber scope and client scope. Just to give you a quick rundown of what that means in case you've been seeing it lying around on my screen as I've been talking. Subscriber scope essentially just means it's specific only to the subscriber. So this, such as say first name, absolutely perfect for that because that name is specific to them. Whereas client scope basically means it's across the entire chatbot. So quite nice to say if someone's providing API tokens, that kind of thing. A little bit more technical stuff. And obviously as well, we've got different data types such as store an API response, copy an existing variable. Really am running out of time, so I can't go into too much detail there, but you can really kind of customize and make sure that the variables that you are gathering is used in quite a powerful way. But so what we'll do there is now we will click save, and my default value, we don't particularly need to enter a default value for this, so we're just going to click save and head back to our conversation and make use of our new PPC budget variable just there and click save. So now we've gathered the variable, and now it's great stuff. Are you interested in Google ads or Facebook ads? They're kind of progressing through if it's Google ads this way, it's Facebook ads this way. We've got their industry. I believe we already added that variable. Yes, we did indeed. Okay, perfect. Do you want to have a quick chat with the team member? And then my terrible copy there. I'm not going to read it out as it's embarrassing. And then we've got that's cool, leave an email address and we'll get back to you shortly. And thanks, one of our team, probably Sarah, she's been doing PPC, will be in touch shortly. Again, I've said shortly too many times, but running out a little bit of time to perfect this copy, more or less building up a decent conversation. Let's just have a quick run through and make sure that the charity side of things works nicely. So tell me about your PPC services. And then I can make an inquiry straight from the FAQ. Put me in touch with the team, what's your name? This time it will be actually saving this as a variable as I've gone through and set this up. And then up to 500, this will now be saved as my PPC variable for use in, say, future conversations. Interested in Google ads. And this time I am a charity. and it's going to have a little time and then say, cool, we regularly help charities set up their Google Ads account. Alex, our CMO, specialises in assisting charities with their PPC efforts. Do you want to book a quick call? Yes, no. So perfect, everything's working. And as you can see, what we've been able to do throughout this conversation is, starting from just a pure FAQ, we've been able to give them a bit of information, take them through to an inquiry. What's always quite nice as well, obviously, click on the wrong thing. Here is also a really nice time to say, if you are trying to warm leads a little bit more and you're maybe not expecting an inquiry to come straight from that answer, great opportunities to say include links to case studies. There's a whole wealth of things that you can be doing here, or even say like including your own videos. You can do loads of stuff with this really. But for the purpose of this, they've made an inquiry, and then from this they've gone from answering an FAQ to a specific conversation. They've gone through that conversation, we've gathered data, we've gathered a few variables within that data, and then we've also had a little split in the conversation where we've been able to ask if they're Google Ads or Facebook ads. They've gone down the Google Ads route, and then another further split where they've said that they're a charity. We wanted to have a specialised charity conversation. I was kind of hoping on making this conversation really kind of charity unique, but I have run a little bit out of time, so maybe Alex is going to be able to continue this in any future streams that we're doing. But I was hoping on maybe adding in a few like videos and a few things like that to make it really seem like nice and charity focused. And then they're able to go through this the next conversation. I can click yes, I do want to book a meeting with him, and I'm able to book a meeting directly into their calendar without having to leave the chatbot window. Really nice, really quick and succinct there. I think that's kind of all we've roughly got time for today. So I'd like to thank everybody for attending. And if you ever do have any questions, obviously feel free to either throw them down in the comment section of the video if you're watching on demand or even live now. Or obviously head over to ubisend/demo if you have not done already and you want to kind of see a little bit more of the platform with your own eyes. Thank you all for watching, and Alex or myself will see